Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the vlog Car Connections. Make sure you subscribe. The market is changing, and if you have an expensive car, you need to sell it now. I wanted to create a quick update just around the car market and how these cars is considered, again, quote unquote rare. It is a Mustang, and I get it, right? But the car market is changing, and it's changing drastically, guys. Let's go back a couple of weeks. And so what I did is I actually took this car over to CarMax just to get a bid. And they actually made an offer of $63,000 for this car. Now, we all know that this car is worth way more than $63,000, but that's not the point. The point is CarMax around, 5, 6, 7 months ago when the market was hot was offering very aggressive prices on cars. And if you guys have been watching the news and following different channels, you will know that CarMax, Carvana, Vroom, especially Carvana. I honestly, guys, I don't know if Carvana will last another year or so. And then think about all those cars that they own. They're gonna, they're gonna liquidate, right? And so it's gonna increase the amount of used cars in the market. And on top of cars already dropping in price, right? Just imagine what that's gonna do. I got this car for about $95K, give or take, with TTNL included, which was a banger of a deal when I bought it about 2 months ago. My thought, I was like, I can enjoy this car for a while and then ultimately sell it. But I'm telling you right now, guys, I've gone on to Auto Trader and Car Gurus, and you name the websites, these cars, and every car is starting to really drop like a fly. And so one thing that doesn't help sports cars as well, as you guys all know, and if you're familiar with the sports car industry, is they don't tend to do good in the fall months. People tend to not buy these cars. Typically, when you see a nice boom in sports cars, and almost any car, but sports cars tend to take the greatest hit, is typically when people get their income tax returns around the spring. The weather starts to get better, especially in the Northeast, and then people really start shopping around for these type of cars. And that's when the big bucks are there, right, if you want to call it, to splurge. Question will be is, though, how much further are these cars going to drop in price? Not just this one, but again, across the board. Again, if you like cars and you look at the car market, you'll know that the cars are dropping in price. So here's what I did with this car too, is I decided to get other offers. Driveway around 6 months ago was doing stupid offers for these cars. Carvana, Vroom, not one of those offers, guys, not one of any of these offers was any offer greater than $80,000 for this car. And when you think about that, then that lets you know that they see something, all those auto. So then I decided to say, you know what? Let me call my local Ford dealership and just say, hey, are you guys interested in buying a new Shelby GT, has low mileage, blah, 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 blah. This was a shocker for me. Called me back about 30 minutes later, and they told me that the best they can do for this car was $83,000, guys. And this is a golden ticket, extremely rare, painted on stripes. And this is coming from Ford. So it lets you know that the market is extremely shifting, right? And so that tells you that if they're only willing to pay $93 for this car, they're going to try to flip it and try to sell it for $92, maybe even more. And they're just trying to protect themselves from a car sitting on their lot. They don't want these cars to sit on their lot. Remember, their job is to flip cars 30 to 90 days out. The longer cars stay on their lot, the worse off they are, right? So they're looking at what cars can I buy that will move quickly. And of course, the current market, the way things are going with the tightening of credit, and everybody keeps thinking we're going into a recession, they don't want to put that exposure in their books. Bigger news, though, out of all of this stuff is that the car you see right now here is actually no longer my car. I actually sold this car already. And I didn't sell it because, the market scares me. Typically I buy cars, I'll sit on them, I'll flip them, I'll sell them fairly quickly. And, all these moving pieces are a little bit concerning, not much, right? I think it's concerning for a lot of people that potentially work in an industry that doesn't bring high demand. And it could be easily, it could easily impact their lifestyle, right? I'm blessed that I work for a company that is in high demand. The stuff that we offer customers is actually, not a want. It's actually a need. And so being in the industry like mine, gives me a little bit layer of protection, right? At the end of the day, guys, no matter what company we work for, there is a little bit of truth that at the end of the day, we're just a number. And when companies are struggling, they're going to make cuts. We all agree with that. But being in a company where typically the product that you're selling is not something that people are looking to just splurge extra money on. It's not. I'm in an industry, thank God, that again is actually a need, not a want. And that's a blessing. And it allows me to be able to buy the cars I have and the lifestyle I have. But the big news, again, is the car you see right now, I don't even own this car no more. Okay? So I started looking around. I saw that the market was shifting. And to be fair, I think one of the things that is hurting this car is the only thing I can think of why, specific dealerships and the rooms, the CarMax, the Carvanas, and so on and so forth weren't willing to give a strong bid on this car. And again, the biggest one for me was the Ford dealership. That did throw me in for a shock. And if you guys have been watching my channel, that ain't gonna happen. I just know my historical record. It ain't gonna happen. I go through cars very, very quickly. It's a hobby of mine, and I'm able to leverage my credit and in a way that allows me to have these type of things, right? That a lot of people, I get it, are not, don't have it or don't have the credit or the income or whatever. And I get it. I am self-aware, guys, of it's a blessing to be able to have these type of cars. Again, the biggest thing that I think is hurting the value of this car in particular, when I bought it, there's two problems I ran into. One, I bought it at a Kia dealership. And, the Kia dealership is they actually service the car. And one of the things that Ford dealership, when they made me the offer, one of the things that the manager told me was like, hey, why did you allow a Kia dealership to service this car? You should never allow a Kia dealership to service these type of performance cars. You should always take them to Ford. That can make people extremely uncomfortable because if they see it on the Carfax, again, why is there a Kia dealership touching these cars? Never even thought about that, guys. Again, I bought it from the Kia dealership and it never even crossed my mind around resale. And I think that's a great call out. I think the other thing that's not helping, again, the value specifically of this car is I am actually the fourth owner of this car. The first owner had it for about a month, put 35 miles on it, and I believe he flipped it and made like $40,000, which is what these cars were doing at the time. The second guy, I think, owned it for about a year and a half and only put about 1,200 miles on it. The third person that owned this was the actual Kia dealership where it was serviced. And I am the fourth person to own this car. And again, no longer mine. I have actually sold it and it will have a fifth owner. The fifth owner is a person out of California. And I actually listed this car on Auto Trader and different websites like that. And I looked at the market and I saw where everybody was pricing it at. And, I started in the high 100s, like around 115, 112, 110. The car wasn't doing anything. Not a single inquiry, guys. Nothing started to happen to this car until I got it closer to the high 100s. Once I got it to about 101, 102, that is when the inquiries started to happen. That's when I actually started getting some people, asking me questions about it. okay? And so ultimately, I sold the car. And this car is gone, right? Again, it's no longer mine, but I have a little trick up my sleeve. And so I think you guys will be actually excited to see what the new car will be for the channel. And I'm actually waiting on it. One of the things where I'm lucked out with this deal is there's a lot of people, guys, that pre-ordered cars, okay? And those buyers that pre-ordered these cars, 6 months ago, a year ago, or all these different type of cars, right? Is a lot of those guys are backing out from buying, cars. One, because again, the market has shifted. And two, people don't want to take on that exposure or that risk because potentially there might be a recession coming, right? And so I lucked out. The dealership actually called me and said, hey, we have this specific spec coming. If you're interested in buying that, let me know. The original buyer has dropped out. Was like, I'm interested. I said, I'm interested only if you're willing to sell the car at sticker or under sticker. Won't talk about those specifics, but I will tell you the car will be at least under sticker, at sticker. Once everything gets finalized, I've already put the deposit on the car. Everything's in writing, unless barring a surprise. I won't have that specific vehicle, right? But if everything goes good, there is a new car coming to the channel. I would love for you guys to guess down below. And maybe some of you guys might be surprised. You might be like, wow, I knew he was going to do that. I would love, please comment down below, what is the new car coming to the channel? I think some of you guys are going to be into a surprise, and we'll see how it goes. We'll have a little fun with it. But again, car is sold, and I got a really good amount of, being the amount of owners on the car. I was able to get a strong offer for the car. Basically, I drove the car for, again, 2.5, 3 months. I enjoyed it. I pretty much drove it for free, and I've pocketed around anywhere between $6,000 to $7,000 in the car. To me, that's a win. For some of you guys, it might not be. The only way I could see this car being an exclusive car where you would say, you know what, you should hold on to this car for a very long time, is if I was actually the original owner of the car. And if it was a one-owner car, and I would keep the miles extremely low, like low, and then just sit on it for 3 to 5 years, absolutely. But it being a 4-owner and now 5th owner car, that's not what typically guys looking to spend, that type of money on this car want to have. They don't want a multiple owner car. The other thing I got from a lot of Ford guys that saw this car, they asked me 2 things every time. Are you the original owner? Sorry, they asked me several things. They would ask me, are you the original owner? Do you have the window sticker? Do you have both sets of keys? And do you have the Ford kit that Ford sends customers to the first owners of the car, which is like a part of the supercharger? I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. All those things come to the original owner. And when you're buying these type of cars that hold that value, the new owner, again, is looking for the one-owner car with all those ingredients. And I had none of them. I'm not a one-owner. I don't have the window sticker. I don't have both keys, right? I can go on and on. It was serviced at a Kia dealership, which, again, I'm finding out that that's not a big thing. It makes sense. And so all those things were against me. And I was like, you know what? Knowing all these things and going through that discovery, it's time to make the move. And the car is actually sold. Transport is supposed to be coming to pick up this car in about 1 or 2 weeks. I'll be sending the title, hopefully the next, couple of weeks, if not sooner, to the new owner out of California. And that's the big update for the channel, guys. Please, again, comment down below what you guys think I'm bringing down to the channel. And again, as always, if you're not familiar with my channel, and if you get too attached to certain cars with my channel, don't do that. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's entertainment. I go through cars. Some I keep longer than others. If that's too much for your brain, I get it, you know, but that's the entertainment of my channel. I have nothing else. I don't go tracking. I don't go speeding. I don't do anything crazy. You know, I'm in my mid 40s. I have a family. I have responsibilities. I'm not in my 20s where I can just do crazy shit to get views, right? So I'm just a regular guy that is blessed enough to have some of these cars in his life, and that's it. So as always, guys, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notification, and thanks for watching.